earlier, if you know there's someone who needs to be here, this is the best time to send them a message, send them a reminder for them to join. And just like I said, yes, we're speaking about the proactive incident response. And this probably just talks about it involves anything that deals with observing, analyzing an organization system. It could be the network, it could be their application, just to detect and try to mitigate threats before they cause significant damage. So that's what proactive incident response is all about. And the purpose of this webinar is to strengthen our cyber resilience through awareness and reporting. So thank you once again for being here. And without further ado, let's meet our speakers for today. All right. Okay, so we have a dedicated cyber security professional with over a decade of expertise in information security, threat management, and incident response. And he's also a certified computer hacking forensics investigator and a security incident management maturity model certified auditor. Just one person, that's a lot. Currently, he serves as the head of the Incident Handling Department of the Nigeria Computer Emergency Response Team, popularly known as NGCERT, under the National Cybersecurity Coordination Center, which is NCCC, which is domiciled in the Office of the National Security Advisor. In this role, he leads initiatives to identify, analyze, and mitigate cybersecurity incidents that pose risks to national and organizational digital assets. His responsibilities include overseeing critical security, cybercrime investigation, coordinating incident response strategies, and implementing proactive measures to enhance the resilience of critical infrastructure. Please give it up for Mr. Onyeye Daniel Onyekpezi. It's a round of applause please with the use of the emoji. Yeah, you're welcome, Mr. Daniel. You can just unmute to say hi, Mr. Daniel.
Hi, thank you
Oh,
very much.
all
I'm happy
right.
to be here. Thank you.
Oh, good. Thank you very much, sir. And secondly, we have a cybersecurity professional with over 8 years of experience protecting critical systems, networks, and data evolving from threats. He holds degrees in computing, cybersecurity engineering, and computer science, and is as well also a lead penetration tester, a data protection officer, both for GDPR and NDPR, ISO 27001 lead auditor and implementer, and also a lead incident response manager. His expertise spans security audits, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, even policy development, and he also contributes to the National Security and Data Protection Initiative. Please give it up for Mr. Saliu Abba Abdul Razak. A round of applause for him too with the use of the emoji. Please, Mr. Saliu, you can just unmute to say hi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. It's nice to have you here also. And lastly, we have a founder, a chief operating officer, in an accomplished cybersecurity leader with years of progressive experience in leading a managed security services implementation for a diverse range of clients across various industries, including tech startups, finance, telecommunication, energy, and the government sectors. His deep expertise spans cybersecurity engineering, security operations, and even system and network engineering, which enables him to drive organizational resilience and ensure seamless service delivery. As a seasoned professional, he has honed the skills in managing and supporting endpoints, networks, and even application security in both on-premises, cloud environments, both within and outside Nigeria. Please give it up for Mr. Hamza Latif. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So thank you very much for being here. This are our three wonderful speaker for today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get right into the focus for today. Just like I mentioned earlier, we are speaking on the proactive incident response. So let's go over the agenda for the day. Our main objective would be understanding incident response, reporting cyber incidents, and also the need for proactive monitoring. So those are the three things we're going to be like hammering on today. And in the next 1 hour, we should be done with all of this. So these are awesome topics and they're relevant in the cybersecurity space. I think we can all say for a fact. And please also, if during the course of this session, if you're going to have questions, please don't hesitate to drop it in the chat box. I'm going to be checking that when the time for questions come up, and then I'm going to read everything. So please just leave your question in the chat box. So thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna be starting with Mr. Daniel. Yeah, Mr. Daniel. He works at MG Search. So, sir, please, can you just give us an understanding of what incident response is and the role it plays in cybersecurity? Let's just understand what incident response, and would love to hear from you first, sir. So, the floor is yours. You can unmute. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be here and speaking about incident response and the role in cybersecurity. Just to start with, incident response is just a structured process for identifying, managing, and then recovering from cybersecurity incidents. And when we say cybersecurity incidents, we are talking about things like data breaches, things like incidents like ransomware attack, unauthorized access, distributed denial of service, phishing attack, etc. So it's just having a structured process in place just to be able to identify, to be able to manage these incidents, and to be able to recover when you are faced with a cyber security incident. Because as it is now, cyber security or cyber threat is not if I am attacked, but just when I am attacked. So what are those structured processes that you have put in place, to prepare for attacks? Because we have to be prepared. That is, the concept of today's webinar, proactive incident response. What do you need to do to stop it before it occurs? So that is what incident response, is all about. So the main goal is to minimize damage and to try as much as possible to reduce the cost of the incident, and then also to limit business disruption. So you don't want to be dealing with a cyber attack when you cannot even do your business, your daily business function. And that is where resilience comes in place. And those are some of the things we are going to be identifying as we continue to discuss today. So incident response in cybersecurity is very, very critical, because when you are attacked, there is that potential, that you must lose something. And there is the potential for damage. There is the potential for destruction of assets, which can come from cyber criminals always exploiting our weaknesses. So weaknesses can come in various forms. So these vulnerabilities are there, they are around us, and that can lead to so many things. But incident response, is what will help us to be able to be prepared to deal with them, either before, during, or after. And that is the area. The after effect is where we will talk about the need, why it is important to report. Because when you have dealt with a cybersecurity incident, you will also want to report so that other people can be able to learn from it. And I know if you go further down, you will see there are procedures for incident response. So what you can see on the screen is the NIST incident response procedure or process, which starts from preparation stage, what you need to put in place. So what you need to put in place from preparation stage, you have to develop your policies, you have to ensure that you have the right tools, you have to have some kind of communication plans in place to be able to interact and know who to call, who and how you relate with the public. And then you have to ensure that you have team in place, because these are the preparation stage. So you need to be prepared first of all. So that is where it begins before. So that is one of the key steps in the proactive incident response, procedure we are talking about. Before it happens, how prepared are you? Do you have the right, team in place? And those teams, do they have the right capability to deal with incident when it eventually occur? Do you have an incident response plan in place? Because it is often said that, if you don't plan, you are already planning to fail. And incident response plan is not an option. And of course, I know that Hamzat have a quote of which we are going to look at also, because many people have this plan, but these plans are not often tested also. And then we move to the next stage, which is the detection and analysis stage. So you want to be able to monitor your environment. You want to monitor your networks, your endpoints, so that you'll be able to identify abnormalities. Because you need to also, first of all, understand what abnormalities is all about, what is normal and what is abnormal. Because if you don't know what is normal, you will not be able to identify abnormalities. So all this happened during the detection and analysis stage. So you need to put in place to understand your environment first of all, and put in place measure to be able to detect if there is an unauthorized access or somebody is breaking into your environment, and then you'll be able to say these things is abnormal and I need to analyze it. I need to look at it critically. I need to validate what I'm saying, and I need to prioritize the alert I'm getting, using threat intelligence. And then it moves from detection and analysis stage and we go to containment. That is where the actual incident response begins. At the detection and analysis stage, it can also be that you have a SOC or you have a monitoring system. You can just do maybe an initial triaging at that stage, but at the containment stage, that is where the actual incident response begins, because you want to be able to stop that attack. You want to be able to stop the spread of that attack. You want to be able to remove the malicious content from the system. You want to cut off the criminals. You want to cut off their access. If, for example, they already have connection to your system, so you want to be able to contain the environment to ensure that they will no longer further the attack on that environment. And then, of course, you go to eradication. So which means eradication, of course, you want to remove all the foothold of the cyber criminals. You want to cut them off, like I've mentioned before. So because if you check the NIST framework, you will see that containment, eradication, and recovery, these three works hand in hand. Because when you want to contain, during containment, you are also eradicating. So you can see it on the slide there. So that is where the operations begin, from detection and analysis, and then the response happens within containment, eradication, and the recovery. These three are done concurrently. So when you are containing, you are trying to eradicate, and then you are trying to recover from that particular attack. And then finally, the final one is post-incident activity. At this point, you have been able to contain, you have been able to eradicate, and then you are able to restore back. And then what do you need to do? You need to discuss. You need to conduct a kind of a debrief session, and then which will help you to update your processes, which will also help you to update your playbooks, because this is, I used to say that the post-incident activity is one of the critical steps in incident response. Because when you recover, just like you fight, when you are through fighting a war, there are lessons learned. You will identify your weaknesses, because during a real incident response, that is when, you know, you will see the fear and some other reaction and action, the blame game all begin to happen. But at the end of the day, you will now have to review your process, so that so if you look at the line there, you will see that when you review the post-incident activity, it will help you to go back to your preparation stage. You now understand, identify the gaps within your process, and then the process is now strengthened before another incident will come, and then you become stronger and stronger. That is why this topic is very, very important, that we must be proactive first of all before an incident, happen. And of course, we know why it is important, because it helps us to reduce the damages, to improve the security posture of our organization, and then to ensure compliance, which will help us to meet up with certain regulations within our own environment. Thank you. I will end there because of time.
All right, beautifully said. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. That's a good one. So now, yeah, we've understood what incident response is and then the roles it plays. Now, why don't we look into the common cyber incident? So, Mr. Hamza, can you just briefly just run us through some common cyber incidents just in the next few minutes, just so we can have an understanding of that? Yeah, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. So, like we mentioned earlier, there's a function of people having the plan in place, and but there's a problem with them applying those plans when the incident has happened, just as a follow-up to what Mr. Daniel has mentioned. So it is very important we look at how you have to test these things before it happens. So if you go to many organizations today, they will tell you they have documents, they have incident response plans, they have all of these things in place. But most time they are not, when the incident itself is here for them to react to, they're unable to successfully react to that. So this is very important. So if we have any organization that have some of these documents in place, we recommend they try to kind of put them into use before the incident happens. There should be like a tabletop exercise. People should be trained. People should be informed. The unit that are meant to be part of the whole conversations are also like a team had to be in place. So it's beyond just having the document. You need to have like incident response team that will consist of people that will communicate, that will talk to, and these are different people. Sometimes some legal issues might arise that you have to address. So you need to also have a legal person in that team. So it's not just about cybersecurity professional. It's a whole lot. It requires that you have the right people in place. Now, looking at the various type of common cyber incident that we have. So most of the times, the bad guys are looking for your money. They are looking to take your data. They are looking to, do all sort of bad stuff. But we need to start looking at it from the angle of, okay, how are we vulnerable? Because you must give them something for them to be able to succeed in the process. If somebody is trying to maybe fish you or take your credential, the person have to send you some interesting emails that maybe you have to click or something. So you are participating in that process with them. So if somebody build a system and the system is faulty or is vulnerable, then the person should be expecting that one day people that are interested in that system will come and take it down. So in this very example you're looking at, this is a fintech environment that was actually breached sometime around August. And if you look at some of these issues, there are bigger issues to this very particular incident. But what happened was that, yes, the code that was written for some of the actions to be performed on the platform, they were vulnerable. So if you look at the instance of what I'm showing you on this screen, the attacker was able to kind of load 2,200. And at the time, the person was trying to make payment of airtime like twice at the same time. If you check this time, this is 2,210, this is 2,100. So the system check that you have the money to make these transactions, but now the system don't validate whether you are sending 2, 3, or 4 requests at a time. So what this attacker has discovered is that he can make airtime transactions. He can do that transactions multiple times, and the system cannot validate that. And that is why from 2,200, this person is able to make a recharge of 4,000 naira. And if you check this timeline, it's showing that this payment went through the same time. So this is as a result of the vulnerability in the system. And now it is when we are responding or trying to kind of investigate what has happened, that's how we're able to kind of discover this. So these are common incidents, especially those that have to do with transactions, transactional platforms like fintech platforms and the likes. So these are a couple of examples that I'm going to be speaking to. Now we have issues with computers being infected with malware. Today, the type of malwares that infect computers, they try to steal information from our computer. So what you are seeing here, these are like info stealer infections on systems. And when those things happen, they take this document and take it back to the dark web, and they put them up for sales. If you check here, you see some prices like $10. They are selling some of this credential in the dark web. So now, how many people are even aware as part of the preparation phase? Are you even aware, or as part of the detection phase, are you even aware that your system has a malware in it that is taking your data, that is taking your password? So if you don't know, that means you have already, the attacker is already winning you, because now at detection stage, you can't determine whether they're in your system or not. So in most workstations across today, we've seen a couple of credential stealers that are loaded into the system. And yes, the objective of those malware is just to take your password. So you won't even notice they are on your system. Your system will still be working fine. Everything will be cool. So you will never know. But we now have a market for this now in the dark web, where they try to make money from some of these things. So this has also lowered the barrier for bad guys to succeed in the attack. So instead of me to ask you or fish you for your credential, I can go and buy it and I'll come back. If you don't have certain controls in place, I can take advantage of your systems. So this is another one. And now this one, it's kind of fresh and current. Yesterday, Microsoft Azure started experiencing some, there's a lot of dependency on the cloud today. Everybody is using cloud. So I think last week it was AWS, but this week now it's Microsoft Azure that is having similar issues. So if you are a business, if you are an organization, if you are an individual, you have people that are in your vendor list that you are dependent on. For you to offer your service, you are dependent on them giving you certain services. So let's say my system is in the cloud, let's say on AWS, on the day this incident happened. And for example, I have these cases of people to have to use my platform for transactions, and now the service is not even available. So this will make me as a business to lose money, and these are some of the things we are. So there's what we call supply chain third-party dependency fallout. So as a business, you need to prepare for this. You need to know, who am I depending on? If something happened to their service, what can I do to quickly come back? What is the mean time that my business can go down before my customers will start bombarding me with tickets? These are some of the things that we need to kind of totally look at. Basically, if we continue to bring up a couple of examples, we have the aspect of ransomware. We are all familiar with that, yes. So some attackers are interested in targeting your data, stealing your files and asking you to pay back. And in this very particular case study, it's actually an incident on a construction firm here in Nigeria, and they asked them to pay $30,000. So how do I come by paying this money? Sometimes there is no assurance that when you pay this money, you get your data back. So these are some of the things. So as a business, you need to prepare. So do I have a backup? If something happened to my system and it all got encrypted, do I have somewhere I can start up from? So sometimes if you don't have these plans in place, it becomes very difficult for you to be able to respond to it. And yes, some of these guys are very deadly. They can, if you don't pay them, they can release your data in the dark web where anybody can access it and download it. Imagine your competitor having access to your business data, and now they can understand how you operate and all of that. And this, we've seen how this has also killed businesses. Another use case is where we have attackers that are nation state backed that are targeting critical infrastructure. It is very important for us to understand now that yes, now the cyberspace is there, is very interesting, and it's something that the bad guys are looking at. Competing, states are competing in the cyberspace. I want to show my power, you want to show your power, everybody is doing that. So, but how do you think somebody is going to hack the country? How do you think they are going? They are not going to come to individuals. There are critical and national infrastructures that we are dependent on. So just imagine we wake up one morning and all of us in Nigeria cannot make transactions from our bank. You know what type of chaos that will be? Or you are trying to go to the airport, you are moving from one point to the other, but you get to the airport, you need to be somewhere else, but they tell you that today, because of a system that have crashed or somebody had hijacked in our transportation network, because of that, we're unable to kind of make any logistic submissions for people to move around. So these are some of the things that can happen. And we started seeing this across the space. What I'm showing you here is a router that was the attacker took an advantage of a vulnerability in the router, and you can see they've been trying, but at some point they have to try with some script, and they were able to gain access to this particular box. So we investigated that and were able to relate that yes, there is a global campaign that was actually targeting this series of routers. And when they got in, they recruit multiple routers and turn them into botnets. This is what they use them for. So imagine you own your server, but somebody else is using it with you. These are some of the common cyber incidents that we have. So I don't know if the next Abdurazak can take it up from here.
All right, yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Latif. That was really educative. So let's talk about reporting cyber incidents. So I'd like to hear from Mr. Abdulrazak. So can you please just share with us what we need to understand when it comes to reporting cyber incidents, and also why we need to report them? Thank you. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll really start by saying that Mr. Daniel has said a lot. Hamza has also said a lot. But when it comes to reporting, and I think it has to do with the way we look at cybersecurity here, at least. So I think one area that does not get enough attention is incident reporting. So many people just see cyber security as just maybe tools, firewalls, encryption. But one of the most issues I've seen these days is the fact that people don't even look at incident response as a thing. So I think a powerful thing we also need to discuss is speaking up early when something looks wrong. So it's not about waiting for something bad to happen before you report. And I think Mr. Daniel also mentioned it, early reporting is very important. So in many environments, I'll be speaking from the fact that, or from the perspective that I'm coming from the government sector. So I'll be speaking from the perspective of my constituents, and my constituents usually are the government offices or agency. So you would see that in a lot of cases, cyber incidents start very quietly. It may be that a member clicks on maybe a phishing link, a login from, so just imagine a login from South Africa, and in 30 minutes, that same user is logging in from Ghana. I mean, that's how these things start. So you can also see a point where system is acting strangely or slowing down unexpectedly. These are signs, these are telltale signs. And very often, like the first reaction usually is to just hope it goes away. So sometimes people are afraid of getting blamed. Mr. Daniel, I'll keep referencing you, but our boss, Mr. Bello, always says this. What we're trying to do these days is to do a carrot approach, not carrot stick approach. We're trying to gain the trust from these different stakeholders that, you know, it's safe. You can report to us. We're not going to do anything to you. If you are in the red, we are not going to do anything. We are going to help you to recover. So it's not just about, oh, once you report to us, we are going to put you on the news, report you, or do something bad to you. So, but at the end of the day, the truth is, by the time the signs become very obvious, the damage is already done. That's one thing. So, as they grow silently, the cyber attacks, these attackers are very sharp these days. They do not come through the front door. They go through a lot of other means. So, they stay in your network for as long as they can if you don't see them. So for me, reporting quickly is not about person A did not put in this or person A did not do that. It's just about the speed and how we end up containing these things. So let's just think about it like fire safety, for example. If someone sees a smoke and you don't wait for the flames, you just act on it before something. So you call for help as soon as you see it. So early reporting, for us responders, we can, with early reporting, we can isolate systems, we can stop the spread, we can investigate the root cause, and protect others. Because at the end of the day, when something happens to you, you don't want it to happen to someone in your constituent or even anybody within your reach as much as possible. So the faster we know these challenges or these threats, the less the damage we face. So here in Nigeria, I think one very important thing that has now been very clear is any incident that affects government systems, critical infrastructure, citizen data, it must be formally reported to the NGSAT, because they have the capability, and for cases that any case that involves PIIs, we report to the NDPC and the like. So this is not a bureaucracy. We're doing this thing just for us together to work. It's not just about I found it and I didn't report it, or I found it and I'm afraid that something is going to be done to me afterwards. So, and don't forget, these cyber attacks, they don't affect just one person. They affect every other person, So one MDA or a private organization is attacked today, it can spread to all our different agencies. So I would still plead, I know a lot of people here are from the private sector, even the government people are here, always try as much as possible to report. But I know some organizations are still hesitant on reporting. They fear reputational damage and scrutiny, but to be honest, the silence only protects the attacker at the end of the day. So reporting is not a sign of you not knowing what to do. It's just a sign of you're showing responsibility, Though I think my own message here would just be for us to build the character of reporting and to not see it as us not being capable enough. So if you see it, say it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Harbour. Thank you very much. That was excellent. That was beautifully said. All right. So why don't we look into some instances where reporting and non-reporting an incident has had an effect on a company. So we're going to see how reporting helped defend the organization and how not reporting enabled the attackers. So, Mr. Hamza, could you please shed more light on this very quickly?
All right, thank you very much. Yes, it is just as important as anything for us to report. Just to add to what Mr. Abdulrazak had mentioned, if we did not do the right thing, that's actually the only person we are protecting in this case is the bad guy, and they always go forward to use the same approach to attack another organization. And in this use case I'm going to show us, it's a very serious use case. So if you check this very particular screenshot on my screen, it's two incidents that happened apart, 4 months apart. And yes, it's just to showcase unreported incident, how it can aid attackers to win, so that we can see. So this set of guys, they went into a digital platform that has to do with a banking platform, and they took some money. And this was around April of 2025. And if you check this same group of people, they use the same name, is their name, but they have different accounts across different banks. And yeah, they took down, they were able to exploit certain vulnerabilities, and they took some fund from this environment. But after that time, there was a kind of follow-up investigations, and all of that were ongoing. But it's an ecosystem which is meant to be like a place where we should be able to share information and all of that. 1 month after that time, this same group of people went to another bank and they took some money. And if you check the timeline of these activities, there's a behavioral component. So what an attacker do, we may not know them, but when they come to our system, we can see you. In the course of investigation, we can see some of these things that you have done. So anybody that is thinking that maybe there is one anonymity somewhere, the only time we make them win is when we don't treat the incident as should be treated. There are indicators of compromise, like what happened, how did they do it. So if you check these transactions on the 30th day of April, if you check this time, this is 2351, 2352, and they move a couple of money. This is like 9 million or 10 million in 3 places. They were moved from these systems. So if you check this other incident, it's similar timing and it's almost the same time. So this is 2359. So the same group of people are actually behind these two set of attacks. They are month apart. Their window is kind of 4 months apart. So we've continued to track these guys to see if there's going to be any activity of them within the space. But this is what we mean by aiding attackers to win when we keep quiet. So when you keep quiet, the attacker goes to another environment and use the same tactics, and they win. They continue to win. Now, in this case that I'm showing you, the second case, it has to do with how a reported incident aid defenders to win. So those people that are working in, now you want to win. If I share this information with you, it will help you. So I'm going to give you a use case. Sometime around April 2022, in Bed Niger was hacked, and it was known to be like a ransomware case. But the information came to the public around this time. And we had like an environment where we use that information to start doing threat hunting. And we're able to discover that in that environment, some people are also already there trying to take over the network and, hijack the system. They dropped some malware. Some of these malware were designed to scan network wide, and after that start scanning the internet for sensitive informations and data. So these are some of the things that are happening. So in this case, because this information came to the public, we're able to use that knowledge to take actions as defenders. But in the first case study that we just gave, we can see how the attacker was winning, because the other side decided to keep quiet about the incident. So I don't know if there is any other thing you want me to say, but these are the two use cases that we have. But now, just to add to some of these things, this is 2025.
Thank you, Mr.
There are a lot of
Hamza. Thank you.
statistics that we have. Can you hear me, Adi? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Yes,
All
yes.
right. So if we check this, so like backing up the two use cases that we have, this is 2025. Is it that things are not happening? What is happening in our ecosystem? What have been the statistic? What have we been following up with? So from our own visibility point of view, you can see a couple of chapters and things that are happening within the ecosystem. So like I mentioned, we have like a team that is actually tracking some of these threat actors that are focused on financial gains within our ecosystem. Most of these attackers are within Nigeria. Most of them are young people that are just trying to, like they are feeding their curiosity, and in the process they're actually committing cyber crimes. So if you see most of these threat actors that we have here, these are the threat actors that we are locally tracking within our own ecosystem. Some of these guys you see up here, they are those guys that have hacked or breached into a couple of organizations. They took those data and they take them to the dark web. So in September 2025, out of these 10 threats, dark web threats that we discovered, like 5 of them had to do with the fintech databases that were put up for sales in the dark web. These are some of the statistics that are current. We have seen servers that are vulnerables that are being used to host malicious services and command and control centers. We personally discovered like 4 of these. We leverage the network of some other private SAT that we work with to also have further data. I mentioned the other time that some people are stealing our credentials and taking it to the dark web. The leader group or the leader malware that is leading in Nigeria today, we have the like of Acrid, Ramandantis, and Luma. When these guys get to your system, they stay there. Any credentials you impute, they steal it and move out to sell them on the dark web. We've had cases of ransomware, like the count as at now is 14. We are very close to 5 of these incidents. We've reported some of these things to the national SAT as well as the IOC. So if you look at this, QSEC is a ransomware group that had like 5 organizations done in the last 11 months. And what are they doing? They are targeting finance company, they are targeting logistic and food chain company. And yes, we've had a couple of those incidents in Nigeria. So this just like back up that yeah, things are happening, but we need to start talking about it. We need to start sharing these information to help protect the ecosystem. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hamza. That was nicely said, and those are like really great instances. Thank you. So right now we've gone through understanding why we should report cyber incidents, and we've also gone through some case study. So let's go into the fixation. Let's talk about how to do it right, like doing it the right way. And I think this is definitely one of the most important aspects of this webinar. So let's hear from our speaker on the step-by-step guidance on incident reporting and also the benefits of information sharing. And this will be done by no other person than Mr. Daniel. Yeah, so the floor is yours, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Hamza. Thank you, Abba. You guys have done justice to it already. Incident reporting is very, very critical. I saw on the chat where somebody said the incident reporting needs to be enforced. It's already enforced. If you check section 21 of the Cyber Crimes Act 2015, which was amended in 2024, it clearly states, and let me read it for you verbatim. It said a person, or institution who operates a computer system or a network, whether public or private, shall immediately inform the NGSAT of any attack, any intrusion, or any other disruption liable to hinder the functioning of another computer or another system, so that the NGSAT, through their respective SATs or SOC, can take necessary measures to tackle the threats. So it is not an option. It's just that some people just feel, like Abba mentioned, and even Abdulrazak, that's Abdulrazak mentioned that, people want to protect, organizations are concerned about their reputation. Sometimes even while they are protecting their reputation, we also, find out, that we can also find out if they are not reporting. And let me also point out also that there's a penalty for not reporting, because if you check that section 21, 2, it said a person or institution that fails to report any of such incidents to the national SAT within 72 hours of its detection commit an offense and is liable to denial of internet services, and such person or institution shall in addition pay a mandatory fee of 2 million. So there's a penalty. So it's a matter of law. So that is why this subject is very, very important. And then coming to the step-by-step, guidance on the incident reporting process. As you can see on the slide, you can see the National Cybersecurity Coordination Center, NCCC. So the National Cybersecurity Coordination Center is responsible for coordinating all cybersecurity activities in Nigeria. And within this National Cybersecurity Coordination Center, that is where the Nigeria Computer Emergency Response Team is domiciled. So the Nigeria Computer Emergency Response Team serves as the operational arm of the National Cybersecurity Coordination Center. And the NGSAT now is responsible for coordinating the activities of other SAT, both the sectorial SAT and the private SAT. So both government SAT and the private SAT. So of course you can see NITDA there is there as the government SAT, the NCC SAT, which is responsible for the telco sector. We have the NF SAT, which is responsible for the financial sector. And then we have other SAT for other sectors. We have currently 13 sectors that have been identified, and some sectors are just in the process of establishing their own sectorial SAT. But all, are under the coordination of the NGSAT, including the private SAT, such as the White Hat NG and some other SAT. And of course, we have been we have had several cooperation, or we are always cooperating among all the SATs. So within the SAT ecosystem, we have a lot of information sharing, of course, which I will also talk about why it is important, or what are the benefits of information sharing. So what are the step-to-step guidance if you detect an incident as an individual or as an organization? So there is always a SAT that is closest to you, but all the report must get to the NGSAT. But then you have a closest SAT. You are within the private sector, there must be a SAT or a SOC that is close to you. And within a sector, if you are in the government sector, you must have your sectorial SAT, which of course you need to notify them. And of course, at the high level, which is the national, the Nigeria Computer Emergency Response Team by law must also be notified. So irrespective of who you are, who is closest to you, you have to notify who is closest to you. Because why are you reporting? You are reporting so that you can get help. Whether private SAT, private SOC, sectorial SAT, sectorial SOC, or the national SAT, the whole idea is that you need a quick help. So that, as we are saying it, these guys, they move with the speed of light. And so we also have to move in the same pace. But the faster you report it, the quicker it is. That is, the lesser the cost of recovery. Because if you wait, the more you wait, every minute add a cost, to what the criminal can do. The moment you identify, or the bad guy notice that you have identified his presence in a system, he will want to do more damage. And they want to ensure persistence, and then the cost of recovery will become harder. So that is why it is important that you report, so that you can be guided. There is a process of responding to this thing. It's not like a fire that you just want to quench. There are different methods of quenching different kind of fire. How you quench a gas fire is different from how you just quench a paper fire. A paper fire, you can just pour water and then everything dies down. But a gas, if you continue to pour water on it, that is how you are giving more energy to it. So in terms of cybersecurity, there is a process to handle these things, and you may not be able to handle it, and that is why you need all these SATs that have been listed in this place just to help you. So let's quickly go to the benefits. So the benefit of information sharing. So information sharing is very, very important. Collaborative information sharing takes the knowledge gained from one incident and use it to strengthen the security practice of many. The more we share information, the more we share lessons learned, the more we share indicators of compromise, the more we share what is happening within our environment, the more we are protecting other people. Because knowledge gained, from one incident can be used to strengthen others. If I handle an incident at the national level, and at the end of that incident, there are lessons learned, I should be able to share it across our sectorial SAT, across our private SAT or SOC, across the constituencies that are affected, so that they themselves, they will understand that there is presence of these bad guys within my environment, and I need to put in place measures. I need to take proactive steps. That is the essence of what we are doing today, that we need to take proactive steps. So when you share information, it helps others to put in place, to take those proactive measures to protect themselves. So heightened threat awareness is number one key thing when we share information. Everybody is aware of the threat within our environment, and we take those proactive steps, to mitigate them. And then the second aspect is that it helps us to eliminate those blind spots. There are always blind spots. No matter how strong you think you are, there can be another way to do that thing better. So when you share those information, you can be able to identify, some of those blind spots that are being left out. And then finally, it empowers us for decision making. So you are able to make decisions based on the information you receive. If Hamza share information with us, of course we do share, so many similar information in the past. So if we share information, it empowers us to make the right decision. Some things that are happening within the private space, he usually share with us, and it helps us also to know that this is really happening within this sector, this is happening within this space, because we will see everything all around. But this sharing of information will help everybody, to be in the know and be able to make the right decision. Because of time, let me end there and hand over to
Yeah,
Hamza. Thank you.
thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. Beautifully said. So, in just 2 minutes, let's just look into the need for proactive monitoring and what is involved and its significance when it comes to threat detection. I'll pass the mic to Mr. Abdulrazak. Please, briefly, in just 2 minutes, can you just explain this to us? Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulrazak.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think because of time, I'll try and rush us through this. But really and truly, for proactive monitoring, you just continuously monitor your networks, your logs, user activities to detect unusual patterns. Because so before they become full-blown issues. So, for example, you might notice an unusual login attempt from, let's say, we close work at 4:30, and you notice someone at 2 a.m. trying to access it. So that is something that is worth bringing up. You should always notice these little things. So repeated failed login attempts too. These are early warning signs. So I believe I always say this to people when I discuss what's it called, proactive monitoring and reactive monitoring. Proactive monitoring, you see things before they happen. Reactive is what has happened that you're actually treating. So it's not good to go that route every time. So proactive monitoring, in collaboration with all these different sectorial sets, with the NG set, with the likes of them, Hamza, I think they've helped immensely when it comes to proactive monitoring. So as well as the tools, because for the time this thing, I think would look at the tools also. Um, for the different tools, I think from what even them Hamza provide, but when we look at prevention, the IDSs, the IPSs, the SIEMs from Splunk, Wazoo, a lot of different tools for that. So I think if for anybody that needs, you can just send me an email. I can send you a list of open source ones even. So for detection, these are some of the options, the EDRs, XDRs, SOAS for when you move to the advanced detection and automation. These are some of the options. So for time, I think a lot of people are trying to go for prayers, but I think I would stop with that for now.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much, Mr.
Mhm.
Abdulrazak. Yeah, you actually touched the key point. Mr. Hamza, if you can just go through the case study for us also briefly, and then we can wrap it up. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for that. So, continue from that very endpoint, we have this case study here that has to do with resource hijacking. So, a malware was discovered on a server, and for the period when that malware was in that server in a telecom provider's end, it was causing a lot of disruptions to their services. And yes, we investigated that and we were able to kind of pick it out. We believe that yes, this very particular malware was meant to do further harms, but because there's a kind of visibility in place and they have like a team that is confident to be able to kind of help them address the situation, we're able to kind of pick that out from the system. We analyzed it and we also add further information about what the malware is supposed to do. So this is like a case study of having like a proactive a proactive monitoring in place. If you don't have that, which we provide as a service, you will not be able to have like a picture of what is happening within your network. And the detection, the longer it takes, the more problematic it becomes. So if we will also look at the second use case we have here. So we've had people that are developing softwares put out, they put out like source code of the applications on the internet due to maybe some certain vulnerabilities that are on their servers. And imagine I can access your source code, I have access to some customer personally identifiable data. So these are some of the things that proactive response proactive monitoring can help you do. So imagine you have visibilities on across board, all your digital assets, your websites, your services, your data. If you don't have that in place, it's like you are still playing. And the era we are in now is the era of detection. You need to like, okay, what is even happening? How can I protect myself? How can I help, defend against my data? In this very particular use case, this is just to prove to you the whole aspect of the initial access broker, people that are selling malware in the credentials in the dark web. So there's a credential that we found, and these are some of the access that we're able to kind of gain. So imagine we don't report this to the people that this particular thing affected, and an attacker took advantage of that. It can break their system. It can disrupt their business. And these are some of the more reasons why, if you're an organization, if you're a business and you have digital ecosystem in place to run your businesses, you need a team that can actually help you do all of these things. Because, as a business, if you are doing banking is your business. So security should be somebody else's business. If you have a team that you have in-house, we can help them, we can help train them if you want us to do those knowledge transfer. These are some of the things that we provide as services at Cyberbura. So I think I will stop here for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Latif. Unfortunately, we would not be able to take questions, but There's a QR code that's going to be displayed on your screen. Please, you can just scan that and leave the feedback. It's very important. And you can also follow us on our social media platform, just like what Mr. Hamza was saying. The link is shown. And check out our blogs. And if you have issues experienced, especially in form of cyber security difficulties, be it setting up an infrastructure, monitoring, incident response, training, whatever it is, as long as it's cybersecurity related, you can reach out to us on any of our platforms and we will be sure to respond to you. So big thanks to everyone, our speakers and listeners too, your time and the effort, coming out here. And we do not take this for granted. Thank you very much. So before we take the closing remarks, if you need resources, just like what Dr. or Mr. Abdul Razak said, if you need resources on reporting, you can reach out to him or check out NGSAT, their website. You can also check out NITDA, NCCC, that the website is there for you to just check and you get more than enough resources. So thank you very much. Mr. Hamza, do you have a closing remark, a very short closing remark for us?
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening to us this time. It's important for us to go back as an organization, go back as an individual to validate that, yes, we have our preparation ready for any form of incident that may occur in the future, and we test those plans out. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Do well to enjoy the rest of your day and also utilize every information you've gotten from our speakers today. Thank you. Thank you very much. And God bless.